If you wanted a hit record in the UK in the mid-80s or 90s, the most important label wasn't Universal or Sony. It was this one on the back of a pair of jeans. Having your song featured on a Levi's advert was the surest way of hitting the top of the charts. It worked so well, you didn't even really need to be a real artist or have a band or even finish the rest of the song, apart from what went in the advert. In 1985, Levi's were doing really badly, and there was a lot of talk about whether jeans had just had their day and weren't going to be in fashion anymore. Their adverts, even though they featured a pre-Seinfeld Jason Alexander and an absolutely jacked Stanley Tucci, weren't really doing anything for them, so they brought in a new advertising agency. The new agency, BBH, had the genius idea of having a really fit guy take his trousers off in a laundrette. The advert was so popular that sales of the jeans went up 800%. The boxer shorts that the model was wearing, they originally wanted him to wear Y-fronts, but the censors said no. The boxer shorts sold 2 million pairs, and even though the record label didn't want them to use the original track, so they had to re-record it, Marvin Gaye went back up the charts again. Levi's was selling so many jeans that at times they couldn't make them fast enough, so BBH kept making the adverts, and the hits kept coming for other artists. Percy, Sledge, Benny King, B.B. King, Eddie Cochran, while various models took their jeans off very slowly or sometimes put the jeans back on very slowly. A young Brad Pitt, before he was in Thelma and Louise, did a very nice job of coming out of a prison cell. Wouldn't you know it, the prison guards had taken his jeans off him, but don't worry because here comes someone with a new pair that he can put on really slowly, while T-Rex's 20th Century Boy plays in the background. By 1994, Levi's had decided that this was all just too easy. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. So in order to make it a bit harder for themselves, they started getting musicians to write music specifically for the adverts. They asked a composer called Peter Lawlor to create music for a couple of different adverts. The second one was called Creek, and for it, he made a really nice choral intro that went into like a fairly heavy like grunge rock track. It was so popular that Peter Lawlor knew he was pretty much going to have to release the song as a single, so he quickly had to write the rest of it, write words for it, and then create a band around the music. He called the band Stiltskin, and the song Inside went to #1 in the UK. Unfortunately for Pete, the guy that he chose to sing for Stiltskin was a guy called Ray Wilson. He wasn't really Pete's cup of tea, and as you can probably see from this great clip from MTV where they're playing Inside live, and Pete kicks the microphone out of Ray's hands because they absolutely could not stand each other. The band, funnily enough, broke up shortly afterwards, and Ray went on to join a band called Genesis because Phil Collins had left recently to go solo. The very next advert that Levi's made also featured a really great 20 seconds of music, this time from a song called Spaceman by Babylon Zoo. The trouble was that 20 seconds didn't really sound anything like the rest of the song. So lots of people bought the single, listened to the first 10-20 seconds that they loved, and then heard the rest of a kind of a slow, like dirgy rock number, and were not impressed. Babylon Zoo pretty much remained the only one-hit wonder where most of the people who bought the hit didn't actually like it. It's also fair to say that Levi's didn't hit every single time. They tried 2 different adverts that included a song called Novelty Waves by Biosphere, one from a woman's perspective and one from a man's perspective, and either way, nobody bought the record. Nor did they buy the 9 Inch Nails track or the MC 900 Foot Jesus tracks that they use on a couple of adverts, but you know, they can't all be winners. Even the best ones have their days off. But of the ones that did hit, these are my favourites. #1, Underwater Love by Smoke City. I absolutely love this. It's kind of like a trip-hop song. It's got like bubbly synths mixed with bossa nova samples and a Portuguese and English breathy singing voice. Is just gorgeous. It's pure class from start to finish. #2 is Nanny in Manhattan by the Lilies. It's an amazing like sugar rush, pop, off-kilter, fuzz rock track that wasn't really representative of the rest of what the Lilies did, and again was a bit of a one-hit wonder for them, but what a cracking 2-minute song that gets in and out and does exactly what it wanted to do. They've actually got some really good shoegaze type stuff as well that they produced, but it's nothing like Nanny in Manhattan. #3 is Flat Beat by Mr. Oizo. Mr. Oizo, Quentin Dupieux, was a French musician and filmmaker who had already made a video for a song called M-Sick featuring a little yellow fuzzy puppet with one of his tunes on it. He kind of expanded on that idea when Levi's asked him to make an advert for them, and just the night before he actually shot the video, he decided he'd need some new music for this advert. So he came up with this little loop that he called Flat Beat and didn't think too much more about it. Obviously, you know where this is going. People loved it. People loved it so much they started bootlegging the advert in order to bring out records based on it. So Mr. Oizo had to go back, write the rest of the track. It sold millions. It went to number 1 in the UK. And of course it had a little yellow puppet absolutely losing his this house track. Look at it, man, it's just brilliant. And finally, Turn On, Tune In, Cop Out by Freakpower. If you remember the House Martins, the bass player from the House Martins left there to form a band called Freakpower. They're kind of like a rare groove, like a jazz funk type band that were gigging around the UK and were doing okay but not great until Levi's picked up this tune and used it to back an advert where somebody in the back of a cab is getting all sexy with the driver, then she pulls out a razor and starts shaving her chin because, twist, she's trans. It was shocking at the time. Now, it was a one-hit wonder for Freakpower, but that bass player who formed the band had a bit more success when he called himself Fatboy Slim. Flat Beat then was the last single that ever came out from a Levi's advert, the last original piece of music they ever did. That was in 1999. The agency decided that was enough. Levi's decided to go in another direction. And then people in the UK just stopped buying records, and the charts have been completely empty ever since because none of us know what to buy. So, come on, Levi's, what sort of music should we be listening to now?